Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to some of our listeners. This week, we've got Bradley Scott on the podcast, a phenomenal actor and scriptwriter, and I'm very honored to have him on board today. How are you, Bradley?
I'm glorious. Thank you. Good to be doing this.
Yeah. It's good,
Good
man.
to
It's been
see you again.
good to see me. Yeah, good to see you too. It's been a while. And it's in fact it's been a long time since we worked together. I'm trying to think the last time it was. It was back in
I think
back
it
in my
was
London days.
London days. Good old
London days.
London.
Yeah.
I think it was 2012.
Yes, you're
So yeah,
right.
it would
You're
have.
right.
Yeah,
You did your research, mate. Very
I
good. I'm
did my.
impressed.
No, because
Very
I
good.
thought about it, I was like, it has been quite some time. So before the interview, I was like, it has been a while.
That's
So yeah.
crazy, huh? Crazy times, man. Good. Yeah. So for those that don't know, Bradley and I actually worked together on a script. It was a sort of like a showcasing for script writers. And it was organized and directed by Rikki Beadle-Blair, who lots
Great,
of
Rikki
people,
Beadle-Blair.
yeah, they're great, right? I mean, lots of people will be very familiar with his name. He's a massive influence in the theatre and TV and film scene in London and well, in many places really. But yeah, he put together this event for us, and you wrote a phenomenal piece, a play, a great piece of script called Shook. And I was in that. You got me involved with that, which I was super excited about. Um, and yeah, what was it? Can you talk to us a bit about that particular script, Bradley? Like how did it come about? What inspired it? It's very gritty. It's very sort of London street. Phenomenal piece of script. You're a brilliant script writer, and I really enjoy being part of it. Yeah, can you talk to us about that? The inspiration behind the story. That would be awesome.
Um, so with some scripts, I mean it's different for each one, but for this one, it was I really had this idea of two brothers because there's several stories going on throughout it. It's a bit like Love Actually, but the ghetto version. Um,
Wow,
so
that's quite a
one
picture
of
you've
the
just painted there. Love Actually, the ghetto version. Keira Knightley doing Street. I would love to see that.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a casting. That's what she needs.
mate.
Not that she's not doing well for herself
No,
already,
she's doing okay.
obviously.
She's doing
She's doing
okay.
all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I had this idea of two brothers, two quite streetwise, not quite hood rats, but people who had grown up on the street, shall we
Yeah.
say. Um, and one of them feeling like he has to do the other one harm to help him. And it all sort of originated from that. And I had a few other pieces that I was working on. And this is what I mean about the Love Actually thing, because I had a few other pieces that I was working on, and I just decided to throw them all together.
Yeah.
So you had a really rich, um, you had all these different stories and characters that felt like they were kind of like the main,
Yeah.
like their story was the main story. So it became a very ensemble sort of story.
Yeah, it's a brilliant piece. So what's the? Do you have any plans for that particular script at the moment? Is it something that you would like to bring back, and or have you done? I don't know. I've not seen you for so long. I've been around and about, like here, there, and everywhere. But it's been, yeah, as we said, it's since 2012 is the last time I saw you. So what's been going on in terms of your script writing, and yeah.
So immediately afterwards, I was all hyped up because of it.
Yeah.
So I went. One of the issues that I personally found was that the female characters weren't strong enough. So I wanted to work on that. I also wanted to expand it a little more. So I immediately started working on it, but my brain is very like new idea, new idea, new idea. So I was working on it and I was enjoying it, but then I had this idea for another script, so I started working on that. And then also, I've always found it quite difficult to balance acting and writing. So then I got a few acting roles. So yeah, it kind of just fell away at the wayside,
Okay.
but I still get people talking to me about it today. So that does, and I really thought recently, it's particularly recently, that I want to. It's been long enough now to get it out there, to work on it again, get it fully ready,
Yeah.
and yeah, put it out there.
Nice,
And
man.
if
Well,
Rikki would direct it, I'd be blown away.
there you go, Rikki. If you're listening to this, let's do this. But Warren's only a phone call away as well. I'm just over in Sweden. It's not too far.
Yeah,
It's
it's not far
possible.
at all.
We can do this. Good, good, good. Nice, man. So you are. Have you always been a script writer? Like, when did it start? When did you start actually writing and making scripts? Because you're like, I mean, immensely your work, your standard of, as people will find out, we're very lucky to have a few monologues that you've written for us, and we're gonna show those at the end of the episode, which I'm going to perform. You truly are a serious talent, and I wonder how how long it took you to develop those skills. Like, when did it all start?
Mm, I think there was always just a enjoyment of writing.
Yep.
Like I remember doing this project in school. I must have been about 11, and we was making this little comic book, but I got so focused on the writing part of it. The story was so long, and I'd always over detail everything. So when if I was doing exams, school exams, in English, you'd have a certain amount of time to do stuff, and I'd focus so much on doing the first question, writing as much detail as I could, that I'd have barely any time left at the end. So I think it was just a very early thing. I really have always enjoyed words, particularly dialogue. Like I
Right.
think dialogue is kind of my favorite part of writing, to be honest. Quite a love affair with words. That's what it is.
Yeah. 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 Cool. And did you do any training? Have you trained as a writer, or is it just a God-given talent, or like have you attended workshops? I'm just thinking for other people out there that might want to follow in your footsteps, like the best way to go about actually developing scripts and getting them out there and getting them seen. Like, did you get guidance or mentoring from somewhere, or yeah, what was the
Um,
process?
None specifically. I kind of just ran with my own thoughts. And also, I've read, um, I've obviously read plays, I've watched movies, I've read books. All of that stuff is influence. But of course, there are influences that I'm not even aware of.
Yeah.
Like watching Rikki's plays, of course, did a number on me. The first
Is
play
that a
I
technical term,
watched,
Bradley? Is that a technical
yeah,
term? Did a number
did a
on me.
number on me. Yeah.
I'm enjoying that a lot. Yeah.
I watched Bashment. That was the
Okay.
first ever Rikki play that I
Yeah, I
watched,
saw that as well. Yeah.
and it was just that was the first time I think I ever thought, oh, I would like to be a writer.
Yeah.
Before then, it was just something I did for fun, and I would have been in college at that point, so I guess 17,
Okay.
17, 18. And yeah, I saw it and I was like, yeah, this is kind of a great thing. And then Rikki came on stage at the end, and he was just, I was like, yeah, this is the guy I've got to work with him. And then I was lucky to do so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Have you worked with him on other occasions apart from that particular time, or?
I'm I'm lucky to say I have worked with Rikki. I think it's 4 times now.
Wow.
Um,
Cool.
twice twice was on my own work. So I've been very lucky because he
Yeah.
is actually my hero. As I say, that first time I saw Bashment and I saw him, and then I saw other pieces of his. I just thought he was brilliant. He is my hero. So I
Yeah.
was so glad to work with him. And pretty much, if ever he calls me up and goes, "Hey, Brad, would you like to do this? Would you like?" I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah." I
Yeah.
don't know what the role is. I don't know what it is you
Yeah.
want me to do,
Just yes.
but if you're involved, I'll be involved. Yeah.
Nice, man. That's great. Yeah, he is a cool guy and very easy to work with as well. A very nice person, but also supremely talented.
I was always very intimidated, to be honest, just
Were you?
because, because you look up to this person. For me, he's like, unfairly, perhaps, I've put him on like a pedestal. So it's like, okay, I got to make sure I do everything right.
Yeah,
I don't want to mess up here. Um, but yeah, so I think it was just a case of luck. I've never really joined a writing course, or I did do creative writing um in college. I was only there in uni for, it was only one term. I was a dropout. Um and it was, they wanted us to tell a story that we already knew in a new way. And I chose Aladdin, which is my favorite Disney film. And I told it in a very sort of, well, a bit like I gave it a shook. I
Aladdin,
gave it the shook
Aladdin,
method.
the
Yeah,
street version of Aladdin. I
yeah.
love it. I love it.
Um, and yeah, once again, I got really attached to the descriptions and the dialogue of it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the only sort of course I've ever done. But
Okay.
of course, you never know everything. So I would happily do more courses, and yeah, it's just
Yeah.
about finding the one that's right for you and
Yeah.
finding the right time and all
Sure.
that jazz.
All that jazz. Is there a particular genre that you prefer to write? Like, do you prefer comedy or action or thrillers,
I
etc.?
I like I like drama
Mm,
peppered with comedy.
okay.
Um, I think I think there's a term for it, isn't it? A
Ah,
drama comedy, dramedy, or something
a
like that.
dramedy, maybe? Is it a
A dramedy.
dramedy?
I think it's
Maybe.
dramedy. Yeah.
I'm not sure. We'll have to. Someone let us
I
know.
think
Someone
I think
send us a
that's correct.
message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone please let us know, because we're
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like human stories. I'm very big on stories that could happen to you, me, Patricia down the road, anyone. But maybe they're not they're not the sort of thing that the world won't be changed by them, but those people's lives will be affected by them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love a human story, me. Love
Mm.
them.
Yeah, as I witnessed, or as I well through doing Shook, but also the scripts that you've sent, they really are powerful. There's one in particular, which is about parenting and about your expectations or your hopes and dreams for your child. And myself having two young kids, when I read through it, it did definitely choke me up. And I'm going to have to try hard to get through that without without the waterworks. Or maybe I'll
I
bring a
can't
bit of
wait to
waterworks.
see it.
I'm really excited, man. Is they I've read through them already, and they just the words come off the page really easily. So it's yeah, it's going to be cool. Looking forward to it, mate.
There's a lot
Um,
of painstaking stuff that goes over, like if you're going to use the word and, or or I don't
oh
know,
yeah,
with. And it's like,
yeah.
for someone else, it's like, it doesn't really matter. It's and or with. And you're like, but how does that work with the rest of the
Yeah,
sentence?
and it
Or have
makes
they
such a
just used the word?
difference.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does. It really
yeah.
does.
Yeah, I didn't
So
even think about that, but yeah, you're right. It's those little words can completely turn a whole sentence, can't they? And it makes such a different, creates such a different message. Good. So you're not just a writer, Bradley. As we mentioned at the beginning, you're also an actor, or just an actor, well, however you want to say it. He is a phenomenal performer. And when did that all start? Your acting journey? Did you begin with that before writing, or was that after, or did you do them at the same time?
yeah, acting is my first love. I when you're a child and you realize that what you're seeing on the screen isn't real, that people are pretending.
Yeah.
And from that moment, I was like, oh, that sounds. Before I had an idea of what money was all about and careers and all that sort of stuff, I was like, that seems like fun. I just get to pretend to be someone else for a day or whatever. Um, so ever since then, I've been just in love with acting. And, you know, there have been times where I've also hated it. There's been times where I'm like, you know what? I give up. I'm done. But it just keeps pulling me back, man. Keeps pulling me back. I can't get away from it.
And can you give us any examples of any work that any projects you've been working on over the years since I last saw you? Because I know you're often busy. I follow your social media, and you've always got something going on, Bradley. You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
Yeah, well, recently I've been very lucky, extremely lucky. Now I went to drama school for 2 years, so I was kind of out of the loop for a while, because I was a professional actor before, of course, and then I just felt like I should know the basics because I always felt like I was sort of learning on the job.
Okay.
And I wanted to study and sort of get an idea of the fundamentals.
Yeah, technique as well, isn't it? Technique that
yeah,
you
of
can
course.
draw upon it. Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Nice. Which school did you go to?
I went to Drama Studio London. It's an absolutely fabulous school. I loved it, every minute of it. To this day, I graduated 2 years ago, 2018. And to this day, I miss it. It was such a great atmosphere, you know. I know some dramas. I know some people who graduated from various drama schools, and there's kind of mixed reviews about it. But it was a great time for me personally.
You had a positive experience.
Oh yeah. I mean, there were times, of course, where it's like, oh, I don't want to do this, but no, it's all great. It's fun. I had a great time.
Cool, man. So after drama school, what happened?
So after drama school, a lot of times I've fallen into the trap of, I just need to make money. So I fell into just like money jobs. So working in bars and stuff like that. But I must say, at the end of last year, or throughout last year actually, that's when stuff started picking up. I was doing more short films and music videos, and I had my first commercial in December.
Nice.
That was for Macmillan. So yeah.
When can we see that, Bradley, for anyone that wants to check you out in that Macmillan commercial? When will we see your wonderful face on the screen?
Oh, it's already out. It's already out. I've had people. It's so amazing. I've had people texting me and saying, Bradley, I've seen your face on TV or this, that, and it's so I'm still not tired of it. It happened. So the day it came out was the 25th of January, and yeah, I've had various people text me, and I'm still not bored of it. I don't think I would ever get bored of someone going, "Oh, I just saw you on my TV." So
yeah,
that's been really
commercials. You got to love a commercial. When they
so nice.
They don't come regularly, but when they do, they are awesome. And I've done one or two in the past, and they are.
I know.
A lot of fun.
I know. I saw on your social media the other day you was talking about one that you did in I want to say, was it Tokyo?
No, not in Tokyo. Oh, maybe it would have been Hong Kong. No, I've not done
Hong Kong. That was it.
I wish I had done a commercial in Tokyo. That would be amazing.
like Hong Kong is a great.
I'd be like Joey Tribbiani, you know, when he does that Ichiban for men, you know, the colourful one, you know. I'd love to do something like that. That would be brilliant. But yeah, no, Hong Kong, I did one or two. It is fun. It is fun. But I think that one of them I did was a toothbrush. It was about a fancy toothbrush that massaged your gums and your teeth. So it didn't just clean your teeth. You actually got a massaging sense. I feel like I'm going back into the commercial now. My voice changed and everything. Anyway, not about.
Did you get to keep the toothbrush?
I did.
Surely, I can't imagine someone else.
I think I actually got one for the family. I told them that I had 2 kids, and I got a couple of kiddie ones as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was nice. They enjoyed that. They love a toothbrush, which is great. You know, it's what you want from your kids. Yeah, who doesn't, right? Yeah, who doesn't love a toothbrush? Good. So you've been busy then, Bradley, by the sounds of things.
Yeah. I've been writing. I wrote a virtual play. It was just a short virtual play that was done entirely in it's a two-hander done entirely in rhyming couplets. I was channeling my inner Shakespeare. And yeah, no, it went really well, and I also performed in it. So it was really weird because when you're because we filmed it ourselves, obviously because of lockdown and such, and we did it as if they were vlogs. So it's really weird when you have to when you're the cameraman and the the set designer and the performer, and it's just there's so many things to sort of because I had it on a selfie stick. I'm just trying to catch everything and make sure I've got everything right behind me whilst doing the performance and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It was very interesting experience. But yeah, no, I was really happy with that actually.
Nice.
Um,
Who did you do
yeah,
that
it
with?
was a Showface Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, and that I've just so the one of the plays that you're going to perform, um, I submitted to them for a monologue piece, and yeah, they loved it. They're gonna run with it. They've actually asked me to extend it.
Wow.
So yeah, so
Nice, man.
yeah,
That's great. That's
going
great.
pretty well. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Everything seems to be happening all at once. But
2021, baby.
2021.
Yeah, it's a new year. It's a new year. Good, good. Well, we'll talk more about 2021 in a bit, but let's. You touched on lockdown and everything, and for those that don't know, Bradley is in the UK. He's based in London. Where in London are you right now, Bradley?
East London, to be
Hmm.
specific, Leighton. If anyone wants to look it up, you can see exactly where.
Don't give us your
What,
actual address,
I'm not
Bradley.
giving the
Let
whole
me.
thing,
I
but
don't know
Leighton.
who. I have no idea who is listening to this podcast, so be
We'll
careful.
keep it at
I'm
Leighton.
sure everyone's lovely, but don't do it. Yeah, Leighton, Leighton. Let's go with
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
Leighton.
nice, good.
Um, yeah.
So you're in Leighton, in London, and lockdown is still happening. What was 2020 like for you as a creator, as a performer? Obviously, maybe perhaps it gives you more time to do certain things. Maybe it suited your writing. I don't know. Can you talk to us a little bit about your experience through that year?
Well, in general, I think 2020 was probably the best year I've had
Oh, really?
creatively,
Wow.
professionally, maybe I think ever, to be honest. Just because you had so much time. And at first, I think I did what probably a lot of people did, which was the first week, 2 weeks, a month, I was just sitting there, chilling,
Yeah.
stuffing my face, um,
What were you stuffing your face
watching
with, Bradley?
biscuits, mate.
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
Nice.
Biscuits and tea. Tea
Ah,
and bit. You want to get on my good side? Bring me. I mean, everyone's on my good side anyway. But if you want to get on my extra good side, biscuits and tea is
a,
really the way
a
forward.
particular biscuit, or is it just any biscuits?
I'm kind of open to anything.
Okay.
Partial to chocolate chip cookies
Oh,
or a
nice.
chocolate digestive,
Good.
which is odd because I'm not really that fussed on chocolate. But yeah,
There we
biscuits,
go.
biscuits, biscuits.
This was not one of my questions, by the way. It just randomly popped up in my head, and I thought I'd ask it. So good. Chocolate chip biscuits and tea. That is the key to Bradley's heart, everyone out there.
Dangerous
Yeah.
combination.
Sorry, man. I interrupted you.
I was talking about. This is a very good question. All right. No, he's talking about just getting through 2020.
That's it.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, so the first, let's say, month, I just sat around doing nothing. And then after a while, when the days start to like just stretch and you're like, I'm so it's a weird I don't know about
Mm,
yourself, but a weird feeling where it's like I'm bored. Um, I want to do something, but
yeah.
I'm too bored and I don't want to do anything. And I want to
Yeah.
do something, but I don't want to do
But it's
anything.
the not
Uh,
doing something that gives it kind of
it-
just shuts off your energy levels a little
yeah,
bit. Like you can be super tired, but if you're always doing something, your energy, I don't know what it is, like the adrenaline or something, just being animated and engaged in something, it just sort of pushes you forward. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I was
exactly.
lucky enough. I've not actually experienced a proper lockdown, so I'm very blessed in that sense. I can't really I can't speak from experience as to how it would be, but so you're saying that even though you wanted to do stuff, you felt like you didn't have the energy to actually get
Yeah,
out and do it.
you don't have the energy, the drive. Um, the willingness really.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm lucky because obviously I'm in a position where I can create something myself.
Yeah.
So obviously I can do some writing. So I can go through a hell of a lot of emails that you always get as an actor, a lot of admin stuff,
Yeah.
which no one ever tells you. No one tells you the
So
amount of
much
admin
admin.
that's coming your way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one thing they should tell you in drama school. Learn how
They
to send
should.
emails and
Oh,
learn how to use social media. I think they're the two most important things for
yeah,
any actor to
exactly.
learn.
Exactly. I remember in drama school, just a short segue. In drama school, we had a class on taxes and financials, and I remember thinking, I don't think I want to be an actor. I
No.
changed my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear.
But yeah, so I was quite lucky. I had something that I really love and that I could work on. Of course, there are plenty of people who, once they're away from the office or whatever it is, when everything's shut down, it's very difficult for them to continue. But yeah, I was very lucky. But you do feel it's odd because of lockdown and because you've spent so much time doing kind of like nothing. It feels like you don't have as much time in the day. Whereas before lockdown, I was going this place, that place, the other place, squeezing so much into a single day. And now
Yeah.
it's just like, if I manage to do one thing a day, I've like, today was productive. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's level has been brought
You
down
just drop
massively.
their standards for the day. Yeah.
Yeah,
I opened up that packet of biscuits and I drank the tea. That's a huge achievement today.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. If I send one email, I'm like, I'm good.
Done.
Look what I've done today.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can rest easy tonight.
exactly.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Good. So, wow. So it seems like a relatively a mixed experience for you, 2020, but not you're not drastically negative. There were some positives in there as well, and you
Yeah.
weren't as affected as some people may have been. Um, all right, Bradley. Let's talk about life achievements. Okay. One or two things that stand out for you that you've done. It doesn't have to be work related. It can be anything. It could be that you climbed a mountain, that you swung off a tree, that you polished off a packet of biscuits in 30 seconds. Whatever it is, whatever something that means something to you. One or two things for our lovely
um,
listeners.
it would have to be shook.
Okay.
Because when I was sat there, I mean, just working with Rikki anyway. But I
And
remember
and Warren
sitting
and Warren and Warren.
and Warren, of course,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Warren,
yeah.
Warren.
Sorry,
Um,
just as you were.
but wait, I was you coming in. You jumped the gun. That's what that was, right? Just working with Rikki and John. I've forgotten John Gordon.
John, yes, he was a lovely
Brilliant.
guy.
Just working with those guys and then being in the room and watching you guys perform the words that I've written and doing it so brilliantly, exactly like how I imagined it. That was sensational. And the night that you guys performed it, I'm sat there watching. I felt really good. I was like in the back with a
Yeah.
notepad, like, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. They've done it like that. So yeah, it was a fantastic experience. I would have to say that is a highlight thus far of my life.
I remember that the character that I played it was one of the best characters I've ever actually had the chance to play. And I'm not saying that just because you're on the call. It's his journey and his arc was just so incredible. And when you initially looked at him, when you initially read him, you thought this guy is, he's hard, he's tough, he's um, not the most likable person. I mean, he's quite aggressive and violent, this, that, and the other. But then as
Yeah.
it sort of transpires throughout the story, you find out more and more about the reasons as to why he behaved in the way he did and this sort of exterior that he had created for himself. And by the end of it, he was just a blubbering wreck and he was completely destroyed. And I remember as an actor, it was just such an awesome character to be able to play. And I remember being there with the lights on me, and I had friends and family that came to watch, and just that the final monologue that he had at the end, it was just like I was completely wrecked by the end of it and exhausted. And I think that's like I've done other shows in the past, and I mean, I always try and give my all, but I was just completely and utterly destroyed by the end of doing that.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, we didn't get to perform it, many times. But who knows what the future holds, eh?
indeed.
But it was such an enjoyable experience to be involved with that play.
It was fantastic to watch, and you did look knackered by the end of it, but not in a negative way. Knackered in that the character is completely drained of so much of
Yeah,
what they have.
yeah,
So the right kind of drained.
yeah,
You
yeah.
look the right kind of knackered.
Yeah. Good. I achieved my goal.
Yeah,
That's yeah. Awesome, man. All right, let's give our listeners a chance to connect with you if they would like to, if they want to hear more about Bradley, they want to find out more about your work, they want to listen to the extracts that you have put out there, and any other work that you're currently doing or have done. Where's the best place for people to reach out to you?
Okay. So Facebook, I think, is probably the best because it's universal.
Sure.
Um, I and I will. How's best? Do you want me to tell you now? It's just Bradley Scott,
Yeah.
actually. Just Bradley
Facebook,
Scott.
Instagram, website,
Yeah,
whatever
you
you
can
want to put
find
out there.
me on Instagram as well. Type in Bradley Scott. There's a very awkward. I'll give you the details. You can put it in the caption or something because it's quite a difficult one. I'll tell you now, but
Do
it's
it.
quite
Why
an
not?
odd one. It's so for Instagram, it's Bradley Scott _16_18. So it's not
Interesting.
actually that difficult, but when you're trying to type, there are simpler ways of doing stuff.
Why
Um,
_16 and an _18? Is there a personal reason behind that, or?
it's because those were the years that I was in drama school, and as I say, I
Oh,
absolutely loved drama school. And I
interesting.
didn't have. I was quite late to the Instagram game. Uh, and by the time I got it, I'd already finished drama. I just finished drama school, so I was like 16, 18. Yeah,
There
so
we go.
that's the reason
There we
for
go.
that. I also use Twitter quite a lot, but I know that's not as international.
Yeah,
But
it's big in the UK, isn't it, for sure? And
yeah,
but yeah, you can fire away with Twitter as well because hopefully we have lots of UK listeners out there as well.
good,
Um,
good. So it's at Bradley P. Scott.
cool, nice. And I'll put all of those links down in the description for the podcast and on the YouTube channel as well. So it's nice and easy for everyone.
Nice and
Good.
easy.
All right, mate. Before we go, we're going to play a game. Are you excited? I'm excited.
I love a game. I love a
I
game, I does.
love a game. Good. All right. So it's would you rather, 5 questions. Don't give it too much thought. First thing that pops into your head. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Nice. Good. All right. Number one, would you rather the aliens that make first contact be robotic or organic?
Organic.
Interesting. Number two, would
Robotic
you?
doesn't even compute to me. It wasn't even something that came to my mind.
Oh, wow. There we go. I love it. Number two, would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak?
Oh, lose the ability to read, I think. Yeah, because communication is so much harder if you can't speak. I'm dyslexic, so it would be quite tricky if it'd just be a lot of work to have to only read
Sure.
if I lost the ability to speak. So, yeah.
Oh, well, that's just sparked. Let's just put the game on hold for a second because you've just sparked a question for me. Sorry, those that are massively into the game. We might even go back and do the whole thing again. Let's see what happens. I'm in a very strange mood today. I'm freestyling and I'm enjoying it immensely.
Do it.
So you said that you're dyslexic. Is that something? I presume that's something you've had for the large part of your life. Um, when did that begin? When did you realize that you had dyslexia?
It's really weird. So I think they missed it in school. I don't think it was perhaps as big an issue, or not an issue, but as big um, a point in school because I only discovered it when I was 25.
Okay.
It's 25. As I grew up, when I was growing up, I always just thought that I just wasn't very smart. I thought, oh, I can't read as well as everyone else. So there must be something something wrong with me. And then when I found out that I was just dyslexic, I was like, oh, well, that's okay. Now I've got a
Yeah.
reason for it. It's not me just being slow. There's an actual reason for it.
Yeah.
So and you know what? Sometimes it's quite fun being dyslexic. I'll read something that would make sense to someone else, and I've misread it, and I'm confused, and I'm like, why would they put it like that? And then I read it a couple more times, and then I realize what it actually says, and I think it's hilarious after me saying they've done this all wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is quite funny. And in text messages and stuff like that, I'll say something completely random.
Yeah.
I think I've said one thing and I've said something else, and yeah, so it's a fun. It can be quite funny. It can be
Nice.
quite stressful as well. But
So I have a follow-on question. How has this dyslexia affected you as a writer and as an actor? Have you found it to be a hindrance for you? Have you been able to use it to help you? Like, how has that all worked? How have you dealt with that in this industry?
as a writer, it's not it's not too difficult. I mean, because nowadays we have this spell check everywhere, so
Right.
you know, I may make mistakes. Although I did read a script, I did quite a few years ago. I read it recently, and the very first line is there was a there was a one word where I'd made a mistake, and it completely changed the whole sentence. And I just, again, I laughed out loud because no one ever pointed it out to me in rehearsals or anything. No one ever said, Brad, do you know that actually this says that? They all knew what it was supposed to say. But yeah, so it doesn't really hinder me too much as a writer. It does hinder me quite a lot as an actor. Um,
Okay.
when I'm going for auditions or yeah, anytime where I have to, it's really important for me to have to learn um, the audition piece. Even if I've got it really last minute, I try to learn it. I let them know that I'm dyslexic because otherwise I get really stressed about it because I don't want to seem like I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm,
I'm in an RN and really I'm just trying to find where I am on the page.
mm.
Um, so yeah, I would say auditions are where the most amount of stress of being dyslexic comes from.
Mm. Well, there we go. But so you make them know clearly in advance that you have dyslexia, and then beyond that, there's nothing else you do. You just sort of embrace it and get on with it, and you're getting plenty of
Yeah.
work, and it's amazing, man. It's good. It's nice. It's good to hear.
I didn't always used to tell them. I used to just try to because I didn't want it to be a factor,
Sure.
but it's always going to be a factor because I'm always going to be dyslexic. You know, I can be stronger, but I'm always going to be dyslexic. So
Mm.
yeah, I do tell them, and I just when it comes to highlighting is very important. I think for me personally, um, so I highlight with different colors and stuff, and that helps. And obviously, I have a friend actually who is heavily dyslexic, and he has special glasses that help him. So yeah, there's all different methods for different people.
Well, that's very interesting for anyone else out there that has dyslexia. Um, so highlighting different words using different colors, and you found that to be very beneficial. Might be worth trying for other people that are struggling at the moment with that. All right, mate. Well, that's I don't know whether we should go back to the beginning or just jump straight back into our game, but I had to ask you about that because I'm super interested to find out how you've managed to navigate that. Number three, would you rather have a golden voice or a silver tongue?
A silver tongue, because that way you can talk your way out of things and you can
Yeah.
talk your way into things. If you want to get into a VIP area only, maybe the silver tongue is going to help you.
There we go. Number four, would you rather be covered in fur or covered in scales?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think I'm going to actually say scales
Interesting.
because I
What?
feel I don't know because if Fur, once it gets wet, it's not as nice and all that stuff. Whereas scales, it affects you in no way. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with scales, which is an odd
Nice,
one. Because
nice,
I think
nice.
most people would go with fur, wouldn't they? So
They
perhaps
probably
because
would.
it
Yeah, they probably
feels
would.
softer. It's not. Yeah,
I think even when I said scales, I went scales, ugh, like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Um, but fair enough. Each to their own, Bradley. Each to their own. Number 5. Would you rather be in jail for a year or lose a year off your life?
Oh, tricky one. I think I would rather be in jail for a year,
Okay.
just because um, to lose a year of experiences. I mean, in jail, they're probably mainly going to be bad experiences, but at least it's experiences that you can learn from and draw on. And obviously, as an actor and a writer, experiences are very, very important. I mean, for all of us in general, anyway, but very much so for someone in my sort of position.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, there we go. That's our game done. And finally, we would love Bradley Scott's final thoughts for our audience. Something uplifting on life, ideally, dealing with positive and negative change, that kind of thing.
Final thoughts. Okay.
Mm.
Um,
An approach to life.
okay. I think um, say yes to things.
Mm.
Not everything, of course, but say like someone invites me somewhere that might not exactly be my cup of tea, like heavy metal, a heavy metal concert.
Yeah.
I might not be right up my alley, but if I say no, then I won't know what it's like. If I say yes and I go to this place, maybe I have a really great time. Maybe I meet a really nice person there. There's so much to be said for saying yes to things.
Yeah.
So you
It's sort
just give
of
things a try.
give things a try, right? And opening yourself up to opportunities as well,
Yeah,
like by doing
opportunities,
this.
yeah. Even the things that scare you or might not really seem like your sort of thing,
Yeah.
just say yes to things and go. Just try to grab life by the well, you know.
Well, go with horns. Go with horns.
Go with horns, yeah.
Yeah.
Grab life by the horns,
Yeah,
yeah.
there we go. Very good. Very good. Love it, Bradley. Thank you so much for joining us today, mate. I really appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
on. It's
Thank you,
been it's
Warren.
been very interesting, man. Very interesting. And yes, everyone needs to check you out, mate, and connect with you online. And Bradley is immensely talented, and we need to see and hear more of your work, mate. All right.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Thank you, Warren, man.
Have a lovely afternoon, and I'll be in touch. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Our Child Will Change the World by Bradley Scott. The news I happened to hear today. It'll change my world in every way, and others' worlds, I have to say. Today I was told I'm to be a father. Me, a dad. A creator of a soul, a raiser of a child. No easy feat, I've heard. That's the word. But still, it's apparent I'm to be a parent. Our child will change the world, as every child does, whether big or small. Perhaps our son will be an athlete who competes at the Olympics and inspires the desires of others, who makes millions believe in themselves, reach for higher shelves, as he himself delves deeper into his reserves and lifts the country which he serves, achieving what he deserves. Maybe our daughter will write books that shape the souls of children who grow with her books in their hearts, later becoming a movie franchise which gives thousands employment and millions enjoyment. Wow. Or maybe my child grows in a career of lies, who men, women, and children despise, who becomes an enemy in the nation's eyes. Maybe they become a lawbreaker, whilst being a rule breaker and a life taker, Surely the Hitlers never intended little Adolf to be the man he became. Could Stalin's parents claim the same? Idi Amin's parents couldn't have had that aim. Could they? Would they? What if our little angel grows to become what lurks in the shadows for innocent children and women on their way home at night? What if our descendant delights in being the fright, in starting the fight and being the plight? Oh, please no, don't let it be so, I pray. Let me let these thoughts go. We're good people, I think. I'm sure we are. We would, of course, try to raise our child as best as we could, who understood that it's good to be good. Of course we would. And say that they did. Grow up to be a good person. They're a really good friend, the type on which people can always depend. At parties, they stay to tidy up at the end. But then some Tuesday after work on the M4, they make a mistake. They're too late to brake and cause a 14-car pileup in which 3 die. One loses the sight of their eye. Another is paralyzed from the waist down. Oh my. Maybe we have a girl who grows to have her own business, nothing fancy. And it brings joy to those that visit it. And she employs a small but happy team who find it a dream. Perhaps 2 of those happy employees who would never have met, otherwise fall in love. Get married, have children of their own, and live happily ever after. All because of our unborn bundle of joy. Perhaps our son falls in love with a girl at 15, who otherwise would have started dating another boy, who would have been the love of her life. But our son breaks the girl's heart a few years later, and she never really recovers. And the other boy, her perfect match, he never finds true happiness either. Perhaps our son, at age 8, has an accident with his mate and then meets his fate, while the friend grows in self-hate, begins to self-isolate, self-medicate, and before too late, death lies in wait. Maybe our child will one day be at the right place, at the right time, and stop a complete stranger from committing suicide. Or perhaps they will give a friend the perfect advice that leads them to a fantastic job. Maybe as a kid, they'll accidentally give their friend chickenpox, who then has to miss out on the summer camp, where they would have met a lifelong friend. Our child will change the world. They could be a gatherer and disperser of information, a giver and taker of jubilation, someone determined to teach others, or someone who films false lovers, a buyer and seller who deals in drugs, a person who works to catch the thugs, a person devoted to saving lives, a person who makes people husbands and wives, a creator whose creations are always smiles, someone who helps by running the miles, a person who tramples to get ahead, a person who lives to speak to the dead, a person aiming to get the gold, or perhaps devoted to aiding the old, one intent to kill and steal, or maybe to make the greatest meal. They could turn out to be a slob without a job as they stuff their gob, or give to the poor all the loot they rob. They could die in 8 months and be a stillborn, leaving me and his mum forever torn. But in truth, whatever the case may be, our child will change the world. Whatever big and bad, or good and grand things our child is or does, they will change the world in so many ways throughout their days. We are all changing the world. Love Hurts by Bradley Scott. You know, I love my girlfriend. Love her to bits. But sometimes I wish she'd just... she's got a right mouth on her. That's one thing that I love about her, to be fair. She'll never let me walk all over her. It's more like the other way around, to be honest. But a couple of weeks ago, it was that mouth of hers, literally, that got me, yeah. That's right, me, not her, in trouble. Let me elaborate. We're out and about doing a spot of shopping up the high street, right? When suddenly, she gets a bit frisky. So, she puts the puck into play for a spot of the old tongue hockey. She's really going for goal, which is fine by me. No complaints here. My hot girlfriend deciding she wants to start a game of back and forth is rarely a bad thing, you know? Especially when other people see, it makes me look good, desirable. So, I'm enjoying myself when suddenly I hear, "Oh, get a room!" And, let me have a go after you, mate. Nuts. Straight away, I know I'm screwed. But I try to carry on, act like nothing's happened. I've not heard a thing. But not her, oh no, not Miss Pottymouth. She starts arguing with them, calling them all sorts. Honestly, how such filth and hatred can spew from such a soft, beautiful, sweet-tasting mouth, I don't know. Already my heart's beating faster, because there's 3 of them, and they all look like they can handle themselves. The type that like to scrap for a laugh. So now, I'm trying to pull her away, telling her to leave it and stuff, but no, she's having none of it. She keeps going, and then one of them says, "Oi mate, you want to calm your cunt down." Now ladies and gentlemen, I am truly and utterly screwed. Because now they're ready for some action, and they ain't gonna beat on her. No. 3 fellas beating on a woman in the street for all to see doesn't earn you brownie points. So it's gonna have to be me. And after what they've just said, I can't just walk away. Oh no, because now if I do that, she'll think I'm weak, a wimp, a wuss, which is, if I'm honest, quite accurate, but so far, I've managed to hide this fact from her. So now, I'm left with 3 choices. None of them are particularly appealing. Choice 1. I could attempt to just drag her away, proving I'm too much of a coward to defend her honour, but they could always follow, which I'm almost certain they would. 2. I could pretend to be the big I am, tell them to go stuff themselves, and get my face full of fists and feet, with the possibility of death. And 3, the option that seemed very, very inviting to me at the time, I could kiss her, tell her I love her, and get the hell out of Dodge. But no, because option 3 is a definite dumping, and option 1 could go the same way. And as I said, I really love this girl, and losing her isn't really an option I'm looking for. So, like a complete chump, I take option 2. Man up, strap on a pair, and go in guns blazing. You can probably tell, but option 2 did not go well. Though, it did go to plan. I got me a bucket of bumps and bruises, of course, and I was pissing blood for a week, among other things. But I got to keep the girl, so trust me, love hurts. It kicks you in the ass, bullies and embarrasses you, but sometimes I guess it's worth it, especially with all the get well, I'm sorry makeup sex you can get. I might just have to get into another fight soon.